Hello friends, today we are going to conduct our last topic of chapter 1, that is green chemistry. In this lecture we'll study the definition and meaning of green chemistry. Further we'll understand how green chemistry differs from the cleaning up of pollution, that is mean by what is difference between cleaning the pollution or cleaning the pollutant from environment, and what do you mean by application of green chemistry. Further, we'll study the 12 basic principles of green chemistry, and at last, what is the importance of green chemistry in environment. In definition of green chemistry, it is the design of chemical products and processes that reduce or eliminate the use of generation of hazardous substances. That is, in green chemistry, as we seen that other chemistries uses different products or different raw materials and produces a product which may be useful or harmful to the environment, but when you are applying green chemistry in your projects, at that time it has a particular design in which such type of chemical products are used or processes are used that avoids the use or generation of hazardous substances in the whole process. Green chemistry also applies across the life cycle of a chemical product, that includes designing, manufacturing, use and disposal. So when you are studying the life cycle of a particular product in the processing, at that time green chemistry can be applicable at any stage, that maybe it can be applicable during designing or during manufacturing or use or during the disposal of that particular product. So green chemistry is also known as sustainable chemistry because it is completely environmental friendly process which can be used to remediate the pollution. So further, how these green chemistry can differ from the concept of cleaning up of pollution, because green chemistry reduces the pollution at its source itself by minimizing the use of hazardous chemicals or reagents, solvents or product. Cleaning up of pollution means to clean the pollution, but first the pollution happens and then we start to clean up, or then we start to remediate the pollutant from a particular area. But when you are applying green chemistry, at that time the core of green chemistry is from the starting point of a particular process, that is from starting only they do not use any type of hazardous substances in the whole process. Like green cleaning up of pollution, that is remediation, that involves the treating of waste after the process has been done, or cleaning up of environmental spills and other releases. The remediation may include separating hazardous chemicals from other material, then treating them so they are no longer hazardous, or concentrating them for safe disposal. But in green chemistry such things do not happen, as in cleaning up of pollution the process is done, then the waste is generated and afterwards the waste is treated. But in green chemistry, from starting there is no hazardous chemical or hazardous substances used, and accordingly there is no any type of substance formed at the end, and no hazardous waste is formed, so that the expense for the treating those waste is been reduced in green chemistry. Talking about the 12 principles of green chemistry, these are the 12 principles in which the first is the prevention of environment, then is atomic economy, then comes the safer chemical synthesis, then safer chemical designs, then comes the use of safer solvents and auxiliaries. Further, energy efficiency process is been used. Use of renewable raw materials, that is the raw materials should be renewable, it can be used continuously and it is easily available in the nature. Then is the reduction of derivatives, different derivatives which are involved in a particular process, the number should be reduced. Then use of different catalyst for catalysis reaction. The 10th principle is the degradation of products. Such design should be formed. Then the real time analysis for pollution prevention, that is on the spot different analysis is done. And at last, accidents are prevented in the process of green chemistry, as there is use of less hazardous chemical. So due to this, the accident is prevented due to those hazardous chemicals. So talking about in detail of these different principles, first is to prevent the waste, that is the design of chemical synthesis is done in such a way to prevent the waste which is generated. No any type of waste is left at last in the chemical process. Next is the maximum atom economy. To maximize the atomic economy, the design synthesize in such a way that the final product contains maximum proportion of raw material and less proportion of waste is generated. Then a less hazardous chemical synthesis is been designed. The it use and generate substances with very little or no toxicity to either humans or the environment is been designed. It designs safer chemicals and safer products. So whatever products are being generated that are effective, positively effective, and also it do not harm any living organism in the surrounding. It uses safer solvents and reaction conditions. So green chemistry avoids using hazardous solvents or separation agents and also other auxiliary chemicals in green chemistry. It increases energy efficiency. So whatever energy is being used, so it is not used in excess. Mostly green chemistry process is done in at the room temperature and pressure. No any artificial temperature or pressure should be applied during green chemistry. Next comes the use of renewable feedstocks. So different renewable energy in agriculture or in petroleum, natural gas or coal as fossil fuels, or in mining operations, renewable feedstocks are used maximum in green chemistry. It avoids using chemical derivatives, so it avoid using blocking or protecting groups or any temporary modification if possible. Derivatives use additional reagents and generate waste. Use of catalysts, that is not stoichiometry reagents. It minimizes the use of stoichiometric reagents because it generates maximum amount of waste. Catalysts are effective in very small amount and it can carry a single reaction many times, but in stoichiometric reagents excess amount of reagents are used every time. It designs chemicals and products to degrade after used. So after the use any waste is generated, so we need chemicals to for degradation. But in green chemistry, as the waste are reduced, the chemical products are not used for breakdown of those waste. It analyzes in real time to prevent the pollution. As it includes in process and real time monitoring, the control of synthesis during the production of byproducts is been reduced because the time requirement is very less. The last principle is to minimize the potential of accidents, because as harmful chemicals or harmful product which is formed can be very risky or very hazardous for the living organism or for the person working in the chemistry subject. So in green chemistry there is no any type of such harmful products, and thus it helps to minimize the potential of different explosions, fires which are released in the atmosphere. What is the importance of green chemistry? When we are talking about importance in human health, at that time Cleaner gas is being generated in the green chemistry, due to which the lungs and the respiratory organ is being clear for the humans working there. Next is cleaner water, that is no hazardous chemical is generated, so the disposal of waste in the water, in natural water body, is been reduced, and it can be used for drinking and recreational purpose. It increases the safety of workers that are working in the chemical industry, because no toxic substance are being produced or it is not been used. It is safer for the consumers to use all the products, as the consumers use the product after manufacturing. There is no any harmful or hazardous product used during green chemistry, so it is very safer for the consumer. Safer food, that is in the food chain, different toxic, it may be pesticide, insecticides in agriculture, or plastic material for the wild animals. These all food or enter of toxic substance in food chain is avoided in the human health importance. And thus, as these all things are avoided in green chemistry, there is very less exposure to these toxic chemicals by the biotic factors. The next is in environment. So there are many chemicals that end up in environment by intentional release during the use. So after the use or after the reaction, the output as a waste is being disposed in the environment. But as in green chemistry, there is no waste generated, and as it is not harmful or not hazardous, so it is very important in the environmental factor. The plants and animals, as it suffer by these toxic chemicals, but and it leads to various or very serious results. So green chemistry is helpful in such a way. In landfills also, there is very less use of landfills, because the one of the disposal method of hazardous waste is the landfill. So the land is been dug, and there all hazardous substances are disposed, and again it is been closed, because but still the leachate is mixed up with the groundwater, and it may pollute the groundwater. Accordingly, as here it is not any green chemical is not involved, so thus green chemistry is helpful to protect the environment. Talking about economic and business, the higher yield of chemical reaction consuming smaller amount of feedstocks to obtain the same amount of product. Fewer synthetic steps, often allowing faster and manufacturing of product, increase plant capacity and saving energy and water. As green chemistry produces less waste, so the economic cost to treat that waste is been reduced by the industry people. The cost of remediation, hazardous waste disposal, and end of pipe treatment, all the cost is been reduced. Green chemistry allows the replacement of purchased feedstock by waste products. So by reduce, reuse and recycle, different waste products can again and again used as a raw product. Better performance of so that less product is needed to achieve the same function. It reduced use of petroleum products, showing their depletion and avoiding their hazards and price fluctuation. It reduces manufacturing plant size or footprints through increased throughput. So, as here we have completed the topic of green chemistry, we have studied the definition and meaning of green chemistry. Then we have studied how green chemistry differ from the cleaning up of pollution. Further, we have seen what are the 12 basic principles of green chemistry, and at last we have studied the importance of green chemistry in human health, environment and economy. Thank you.